Okay, welcome back. Welcome back. River's just too high right now. I'm waiting for it to go down. I went down a little bit ago and scratched around, did some bucket rinsing, and didn't find anything but two broken triangles right here. This little one with the tip broke off, and then this larger one with the big chunk gone out of the base. Got all these brokes I found last year. Look at all these brokes. Beautiful material in there. Little blade, just different things here. Preforms, busted bases. Oh, that would have been killer. There's that broken killer there. Busted Adena. You saw us find that one. But anyway, thought we'd do a little video here on how to restore a couple points. Make them look good for your frames. I'm not the best at this, but I've restored a few, and in the frame under glass, they look good for display. So here's what we're doing. Found these two little broken points today. Broken triangles. We're going to be using this steel stick 2-part epoxy. Mix that up. Got our little mixing spoon. Have two gouges. We got this straight gouge here. And we got this spoon gouge. That's the tools we're going to need. And I'm going to have to get me a little glass of water too. I'll be right back and we'll start mixing up this epoxy and I'll show you what we're doing. Okay, let's mix up the resin. This comes in a tube. Got the resin in the middle and then the hardener around the outside. So you want to get about equal amounts of hardener to resin. Let's cut a little piece off and we'll get that mixed up. Okay, we got our resin mixed up here. Put that back in. We don't want that drying out. And what we're going to do now, we're going to stick. Let's do the small one first. Take about as much resin as you think you're going to need. It's not going to take much for this little one on the tip. And we want to stick it on there. Just like that. Just glob it up on the end. The reason I got this water is I can dip my finger into the water. And that way the resin won't stick to my fingers as I'm pushing it down on there. Just kind of form it into a tip. Always, like when you rub it off, take some off, always move down towards the tip like this so you don't separate the resin from the point itself. And that's what we're looking for right here. Just globbed up on the end. And then we'll use the rest of it for our large point. And this one's going to take a bit more than that last one. There's a lot missing out of this one. Again, just glob it on there. You can always take it off, but it's harder to put back on once it dries here. I hate to put more on, so just make sure I get enough on there. To finish the point and try to get that basic shape. Now it's going to be all globbed up and fat, but we're just going for that basic shape. There we go, that's not bad. Now just make sure it's stuck on there good. Dip your fingers in the water and just kind of push it on. There, you can see now how it's globbed up on there. I better put some more on the back. This putty is about, I know it's like 5-minute putty. Starts to harden up pretty quick. It takes a little longer than 5 minutes to completely harden, but working time is about 5 minutes. Okay, we'll let this dry just a little bit. Then we'll start shaping it. Like I say, this is not going to match perfect. You might not be able to tell with this small one here because it's black. This one here you might be able to tell a little more. And I don't have paint right now, so to match it up, we could paint it. And I just buy some little little thing of crafter's paint. I think I'm even going to fill this little divot right here in because it's there's a void right there. I'll get this all globbed on, let it dry a little bit, and then I'll get back with you and show you the next step. Okay, the point's starting to harden up a little bit. It's been about, I'd say, 4 or 5 minutes. Working time, it's on there pretty good. So now we're going to take our spoon gouge here, and we're going to wet it down so it cuts through easier. And then we're just going to make random, this makes good random flaking patterns to mimic how it would have been napped. And we'll do that right now here. Always when you're doing this, don't start at the point end and work it off, because you can pull the epoxy off. Always go from the epoxy side and work towards the point. So you're always pushing the epoxy on to the point. And you can see how this just takes random imitation flakes off. And I'll just go around and work from the sides, work this down. Shaky, getting old. I'll work this down, and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, we're just finishing up the basil thinning flakes here. You see all my debutage there. Trying to mimic the napping patterns here. The way they would the way they would go. The way I think they would go on this point. Get these corners nice and sharp also. Once this stuff starts to dry, you can't really just shove in it. You have to kind of saw with the blade sideways a little bit. Let this dry just a second, then I'll show you the finished point. Okay, we're all finished. Like I said, I don't have any paint with me right now. I have to get some, you can get some craft paint and mix up the colors, make it match good. But if you have black or dark gray points, this epoxy is that color, so you don't even have to paint it. It works out pretty nice. This is good for, like I say, displaying. If you have something with a small crack, you want to put it in your case with your other items. But here's the finished product. Here's the small triangle. And it just had that slight tip damage there. But now that's displayable, you know. It looks a lot better in the case, and it doesn't have to go into this bucket of brokes here. And here's the other point. Trying to get some light. I'm inside. It's hard to get light here inside. But it didn't turn out too bad. Turned out pretty nice. Get some paint and paint that. Be nice for display. And I hope you got something out of this. Like I say, I'm nowhere near an expert on this, but I've restored some points. I even put a whole base on a point last month. It worked out pretty well for the case anyway. I made the base what I assumed it would have looked like. So as soon as this river goes down, it's supposed to rain all day tomorrow, but I don't think it's going to come up. They're not predicting it to go way up. So within the next couple days, we're going to go down to Honey Hole and we're going to sift, because I think that whole place has reset itself. There's a lot of flint and stuff coming out of there, even up high with the water high. So I'll catch you on the next one, and we'll get a video on as soon as we can.